right, take 5.
Here we go.
Yeah, nice. 20 minutes later, the German in me is not happy. But yeah, so thanks for joining, and thanks for making it work on the next platform. Now I'm a Zoom customer too. Yeah. Okay. Right. Usually, like when I do those things, right, I'll try to introduce my guests, but then, of course, my due diligence as a podcast journalist, if that's a thing, I try to stalk you guys, and I was like, all right, now I'm kind of intimidated with like your resumes and everything, and especially Tim saying he can dunk, which looks really impressive. So I'm impressed by that.
I mean, it's been a while.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. But how do you guys introduce yourselves right now? Are you the WWE commentators? Are you the funny guys from TikTok? Like, how do you guys introduce?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I always like just starting with WWE just because I'm really, really proud of that. But yeah, usually it's like WWE who also do TikToks.
Okay.
I don't talk to people.
That's fair. He really doesn't. It's usually me who blabbers.
Welcome to the
Tell
podcast.
them who are you and why are you talking to me? What do you want from me? But no,
it's usually
WWE.
Yeah, it's usually like me talking and then Tim just like sitting in the corner. Maybe he's the what did you call yourself last time? The creative. What was it?
I'm the creative tortured artist that sits in the corner.
Yes, there you go. Yes, exactly.
That makes a good commentator, I think, right?
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
Exactly. Someone who doesn't want to talk.
I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're all wearing hats, so.
I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, but that fits the German stereotype, right? Like being like super quiet, looking serious.
Oh yeah. And I'm Northern German, so we're like even more reserved and even more cut off.
Okay, nobody's perfect, so it's okay. We forgive you. No problem.
Northern German is the best.
As being from Bavaria, I have to disagree, but let's not go down this road. This would take forever.
Fair enough.
I almost ended up working in Hamburg, though, so I appreciate Hamburg.
Okay, good. Well, there we go.
I hate the food, though. But let's move on.
Wrong.
I mean, we do know the food in the South is much, much better.
No.
Yes.
It's not honest. It's fatty. And
it's not honest. I like that. The food is not being honest.
All right.
Tell it to anybody who's from Italy or Spain. They'll really appreciate that comment.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to make this like a food podcast, but since you talk about it, how's the food over there?
I mean, it's good. You can get we're still New York. It's like New York.
Yeah.
They still have great food. I feel like if we were somewhere else in the country, it might be a little worse. But
it's amazing though, and it is true because like I feel like we're really spoiled here. When you go, you can just go anywhere and be like, oh, I want to eat this, and I'll have it, and it's going to be in your vicinity. But then like sometimes when we're on the road. And I know for my brother, it's the same because he tours sometimes. But he's like, as soon as you get out of New York City, it's like, all right, your options are like a couple fast food chains and maybe an Applebee's or something. And it's really not that great. Yeah. I do miss food from home a lot.
Also, I will say, I mean, like and I say this often, it's like even like the candy and stuff just tastes better in Europe because I think it's because the FDA allows more stuff to be put into the foods here. So it like tastes more like sweet and fake and sugary, whereas like you use real sugars, I guess, in Germany.
I guess you must. Also, yeah. I mean, we also have like Nutella.
But we are being unfair to America. There are good places. Like when you go to the South and stuff, like the food, when you find a good, like the barbecue and stuff is incredible.
That's impossible to be like, you're not going to have that back home in Europe, but like it's stuff, even like, for example, getting a Big Mac here versus getting a Big Mac in Austria or Germany. I'm sure it's the same thing. It's a completely different taste. It's even
in Thailand it's different.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How is it in Thailand? Is it good at all?
Yeah, I mean they have the standard, like, I mean, if you're talking fast food, they have the standard Big Mac and stuff, but they also have like spicy Thai chicken, whatever.
Oh, nice.
You can order rice at McDonald's, like stuff like this. So it's,
nice.
But I mean, you don't really go to McDonald's unless you're like really craving like some, I know, salty fries or something, because otherwise you just grab like street food. But welcome to my new food podcast.
Exactly.
With your wrestling commentators.
Talking about.
I just saw the other day that Dana White from the UFC got like a food show on the Food Network. Like it's called like Fuck It Fridays. And he's like,
oh, of course.
Really?
It's just him swearing, right? It's just like, oh, this fucking chicken.
Exactly. Yeah. So
fuck it.
I mean, if he can do that, we could do it, right? Like,
yeah, seriously. I mean,
I think
what has Dana White cooked?
3 German speakers criticizing international food. I think that would be like amazing.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah, we have a skit in mind. We haven't really figured it out yet, but we really want to do one about foods. Yeah.
Okay. Looking forward to this. I have like.
No, we don't.
I have like kind of like some talking points, and we already like threw them out the window in the first 5 minutes because we're talking about food and all this stuff.
Yes, all right, let's talk about the weather next.
Exactly. What's your favorite color? And but I do wonder. Because I have to ask some serious questions too. Because, like I said, told Calvin in the beginning, like I'm a professor at the university as my main job, and I'm not doing food podcasts. And I teach like media stuff, right? So media studies and so on. And I did stalk you guys, of course, as much as I could, like online, with like your resumes and your IMDb entries and stuff like this.
Oh boy!
I just try to do my due diligence, and both of you have like lots of. I mean, you do lots of different stuff, of course, but it shows like you're doing lots of stuff. And I have students like right now, like bachelor students that I graduate media studies. I want to go into movies and I want to go into theater or whatever. Is there just like just like 1 or 2 things you want to share with them? Like, hey, the road isn't like, I mean, you probably have lots of things to say, but if there's just a few learnings that you want to share with like aspiring young students.
Don't do it.
I'm just kidding. Try and get into a different course maybe and restart the semester.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I think, if it's your passion, if it's what you really want to do, I think just be prepared for it to be a very challenging road. But find something that you really connect to as a human being. And then, just basically go after that and find different ways to express yourself. And I think that's what really helped Tim and I even just now to, get some more, reach or, just being seen more, is like just doing the stuff that we really enjoy doing. And for us, luckily enough, it took off. But, I think I've seen that a lot of people nowadays just tackle different mediums, whether it's short formats or, filming their own stuff or trying to get into more theater. The more you spread yourself out, the more you find out what you really like doing. And a lot of times you don't know the answer. And that's, I found myself in the same thing where it's like, I thought I really wanted to do, this one thing, which was just TV and, do some films. And then I realized there was all these other things that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know, like if you want to go into film and TV, it's great. It's just, it's so difficult. It's getting more and more difficult to get into like the thing, I guess, like what most people aspire to be, which I guess is Hollywood, or to do like the big movies and TVs. But it is a lot easier to actually create the work nowadays with, iPhones, you have the iPads, all that stuff. So it's basically just about creating your own stuff and not waiting for people to hand you auditions or all that stuff. Because like I auditioned a little bit here and there and would do like mainly theater before quarantine. And then during it, I got so bored and nothing was happening. And so I just like started writing stuff. And like I remember that because like I love the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I remember I think like it was like Charlie Day and Mac who were like talking about like, yeah, we weren't getting anything. So we just decided, we better create our own work because nobody else is giving us stuff. And that seemed to work out for them. And, I enjoy hanging out with Calvin sometimes. So what better way to spend my afternoons than shooting nonsense with a friend? And even if it doesn't take off, I'm still having a good time.
I would just like to point out this might be the first time ever live that Tim has called me his friend. So we just maybe we can like make this a moment in the podcast.
I'm just trying to be nice today. I don't know why. Yeah, he's an acquaintance. He's a good acquaintance.
All right, then. I mean, first of all, that's definitely some good advice. I think, like when I look at my students right now, like lots of them, they have the plan, the plan to like, I'm gonna end up on TV, even if it's like here in Thailand. But it's also very competitive, right? Soap operas are like the big thing here that everyone wants to play in. But like I said, there are so many, of course, and also with the streaming and stuff, there's just it's crazy, and like just trying to explain to them that it's not always the straight way or the one way to success makes me sound like a really old person, though. Which is like,
no, but it's true. Yeah, it's true.
It is. I think there's a certain level of maturity that comes with that, is like when you actually realize that it doesn't have to be this one thing and it doesn't have to work out this way, that there's actually other things that you can enjoy doing and actually feel really fulfilled by. And I think that's really important.
Once that, it's like also like I mean, like especially like in the first like when you first start out that new journey or whatever, it's you gotta keep on working at it. You can't get disheartened early on because the first stuff is rough. I remember like when Calvin and I started putting out videos on TikTok first, and it was like, oh, we got 150 views and like 9 likes, and then we'd be like, all right, so I guess we're shooting another one tomorrow. And like that slowly builds over time. But it's like if we saw those first numbers and just after the first 5 videos, if we wouldn't have been like, let's keep on pushing, it would have been like, all right, we're done. Yeah, this was fun.
And I think, even with that, you and I both got really lucky, because I think it was like was it like 15th video that took off, and it was with cars, and it went viral, and like, we had a platform then, and like now our other stuff had more of a chance of being seen and, getting out there. But yeah, I've also seen other TikTokers who took off, but it took them a lot longer and they had to keep going at it. And a lot of times it's also just like trial and error. Like you see what actually works and what doesn't work. So I think Tim made a really good point. Is like, just keep at it and keep figuring out ways to do the things that you really like. And eventually something will actually stick.
Yeah, cool. At least sorry. Yeah.
It's sometimes it's just like the things that you think, at first it doesn't seem like it necessarily works out, but there is, it takes a little bit of luck, especially when you're dealing with something like the algorithm of TikTok or just in general media with social media. We had it with a video recently that we saw, I think like the Gullible Judge ones that we did on TikTok. It did okay. I think it got like 100K views or something. It did nicely, and we felt like, okay, it was fine, but not our best. And then we threw it up on YouTube, and just forgot about it. And then I think it's almost at like 5 million views now. So it's like even the thing that you think was sort of a failure or wasn't as good might, if you're lucky with a different algorithm, if somebody else suddenly sees it and it finds its way. We had another video that we did where it was the taxes one, where like it somehow, because somebody else had posted, so it fell into the lap of a guy who threw it up on Twitter, where then all of a sudden we got a bunch of views from that. So it's time and a lot of luck as well, which I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear, but so you also have to be a little bit of luck. There's got to be a little bit of luck.
I hope my students don't take away like, okay, we got to have luck. We got to be lucky. That's the one.
No. I mean,
say your prayers.
I think, but like the luck you also create in a sense of like constantly putting yourself out there. So you're increasing your chances of actually getting lucky. It's not just like, hey, let me hope this video that I did this one time in the week is going to take off. There's people putting stuff out once or twice a day, and, they're really increasing their chances of being seen. It's just mathematics at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you create videos, do you actually think about the algorithm and like what kind of content are we creating? How long are the videos, or like what words are we saying?
Yes and no. Like we do try to keep in mind, like, a lot of times videos that are shorter are obviously just going to fare better because people's attention spans are going to be not as long as like nobody wants to stay on for a minute for a video that's like 1 minute 30 seconds long. So, a lot of times we do try to keep it short. But, then there's times where we really want to do a sketch that's like 1 minute long, and it just takes time to build up and get there. We've been talking about wanting to do longer format stuff, even for YouTube, where it's like, properly shot and the actual like, short video. But, the other stuff, you just don't know. That's really the hard part about it. It's like, you just don't know what the algorithm is going to like or not. You really don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like we obviously have it sort of in mind. It's like, okay, we can't say necessarily these words, or we have to, you can't go too hard with certain jokes because of how TikTok is family friendly, and then the algorithm punishes you. But in general, I think usually what we do is like the sketch always comes first. And then if it works out, we see something like, oh, it's 15 seconds. That's great for the algorithm. Like, but I don't think we ever like cut it specifically for the algorithm.
Yeah, no, I think we've only done it like once or twice where we like cut out a second or two of a video so that it could fit on Instagram Reels, where it was just at 30 seconds long. That was the extent of it. That was like as far as we've gone with that.
Okay, fair enough. Like, do you see like when you mentioned earlier, like you cross-post it to YouTube, and for example, and then it takes on its own life of its own kind of thing, right? Because it's very different to TikTok or Instagram. Yeah. So you just always cross-post and then see like, hey, let's see which platform does better, or you're like, no, you're doing best on TikTok, so TikTok comes first, and the rest is like nice to have.
I think it's because we started out on TikTok. That was always like the main thing that we were building. And then I guess we just started to branch out. So it's like the first post will always be TikTok. That's where the video will be seen first. But I mean, like we'll post to YouTube immediately after, and to Instagram. So, but yeah, TikTok comes first.
They go out immediately, but also TikTok's our biggest following. At this point, we have 500,000 followers. We're on Instagram. It's at 32K. And I think we're at 31K on YouTube now, which has grown really quickly in no time.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, TikTok's going to remain our number one. It's just like, unless something happens and the other ones just completely blow up, which I don't foresee happening at this point. Yeah. It's such a great platform for organic reach. Like it's just it's hard to compete with that.
True. Does TikTok hand out like plaques like YouTube? Like get a subscriber count, you get a golden or a platinum or something?
I don't think so.
I thought they did at some point. Yeah,
I thought like I did see them send out like skateboard decks for a while, but we never got one.
Huh. Hey, TikTok.
Sad about.
But is it for 1 million or is it for 500,000?
I'm not sure.
Maybe it's for 1 million. Yeah.
Let's write TikTok.
Let's write them. Hey, where's our plaque?
Hey, we didn't get a gift.
Hey, so you're laughing, but I'm gonna have an event here with TikTok Thailand, so I'm gonna ask for you. No problem.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Do. Thanks. Yeah.
Please do.
Also ask them about our verification.
Where is their skateboard? I'll send you the skateboard if they give it to me.
Please do.
The skateboard and a blue check mark. That's all we want.
That's all we want. That's all we want. Yeah.
That's why you started the whole thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
I think I remember in the very beginning, it was our first video that did kind of well. And I think we had 40,000 views and we were both so excited about it. And I remember Tim texting me being like, by the way, when we get the skateboard, we should saw it in half and it'll be a great video for TikTok as well. We don't live together, so we'd have to, somehow figure out a way to split that.
They would love to see that if you do that with the skateboard.
I'm sure.
Ban for life. That's how you can take off the platform.
Exactly.
Maybe.
But so for real, how did you start? Like you just like, hey, like you said, I'm bored. Let's just do something. Or did you have this like in mind for longer and like now we've got the time to do it?
Yeah, yes. Go ahead, Tim.
Calvin and I had like even at WWE when we had started, like we very quickly like grew to be close friends there and like connected instantly. So like we'd always talked about doing something maybe for WWE or doing something, like, oh, let's try and do like a silly sketch show with the wrestlers, or like we always pitched some sort of idea of what we could be doing maybe during quarantine. Yeah, like I said, I was watching a bunch of stuff and like my girlfriend was starting to show me TikTok and I'd been like, oh, this sort of seems fun. And then a buddy of mine who I'd shot a few sketches with was like starting to really take off on TikTok. And I was like, oh, there's something to it. So I think I wrote like one quick, dumb little sketch and I like sent it to Calvin. It was just like, hey, you want to shoot something tomorrow? We can throw this up and afterwards we can have a beer and eat something, have a dinner or something. And so we did that and we had a fun time and sort of then just kept on doing it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I also really over the quarantine kind of got into the other side of it, like social media marketing and that kind of stuff. And it like when Tim came with the idea, it was like, hey, this could be really fun if it works out and builds up and yeah, I mean, like I said, especially because we got lucky early on with a viral video, it just gave us much more drive and like motivation to do it. And then we became really serious about figuring out, the types of sketches we shoot and like the way we shoot it and the lighting and the editing. And, we're still constantly working on it and figuring out new stuff to do and new creative ways to do it with. But we always had a blast when we got to work together at WWE, and we're always looking to do something else. And I think I remember one time like years ago, we said, maybe we should do something on YouTube, but we didn't really know what it would be. And then, I think this was perfect for us because we get to be dumb for like 30 seconds or more. That's Tim and I in a nutshell, really.
Just to go back, I do care being at WWE. I like the job there in case anybody's listening. I just meant that we don't have a good big standing there.
It's changed now. It's a little bit.
It has changed a little bit. It has changed a little bit. We are doing TikToks for them now. So
yeah, which is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. After I saw you guys, and I told Calvin before, I'm like, friends from Thailand sent me your TikToks or your IG videos. Like, man, Germans can be funny. I'm like, yeah. Now I'm.
That's awesome.
I'm a bit insulted now, but because you know me. But okay, yeah, sure, Germans can be funny. And I did not want to like your content because of what they said. They're like, look, they're
of course.
Germans. I'm like, hey, you know me for 5 years. But then I of course checked it out. I'm like, yeah, okay, the Germans are funny. Yeah, okay, cool. But that leads to a question. Do you really think of like, right now, like woke culture, political correctness and stuff like this? Is this a I don't know, a thought that you have, like, oh, I hope we don't say anything offensive so we get canceled, or you're like, nah, we do good, clean stuff. That's what your IG says. So we're not prone to that anyways.
Tim, I'm going to let you answer that one.
I mean, I do think there have been like moments where like we probably shouldn't do this bit, or we shouldn't say this joke, or maybe let's reword it just because we don't want to get canceled, as they say. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. Is this really something that people like listening to? It's like white people talking about being canceled and not being allowed to be funny anymore. It's like, I also get sick of this. Like when I hear stand-ups whining, being like, oh, I can't say the jokes that I used, like this great material that I used to do, where it's like, I saw your stuff at the cellar and it's just you talking how you drunkenly touched a girl. And what are you talking about? Mm. These are not good jokes. Like most of the stuff that people do get canceled for, or like get canceled for like a week or so, it's like, yeah, some of that shit isn't funny. It's like it's like, I get that you're frustrated that you no longer get to do the jokes that you once used to do, but it's also like times are changing. Mm-hmm. And like that was my little tirade on cancel culture.
No, but I think you're right, because I think there's also a laziness, because it's a lot of stuff that's like, quote unquote, like heavier material or darker material. And that like maybe they're like you can get a rise out of people, but I think if you find a way to actually craft comedy, you can do it much more tastefully and respectfully to people, and I think that's extremely important.
I mean, like obviously there's still some people who like just love people losing their jobs, especially on something like as toxic as Twitter, where you're just like people just behind their keyboards. He said one word wrong, so he should lose his like job and income and all that stuff. I mean, that is a little bit out of control for certain people. But like Calvin said, I think in the grand scheme of things, a lot of these things that get canceled are just like they're just bad jokes in general. Yeah. I think you should be canceled for bad comedy.
not for saying the bad thing, just because it's bad comedy.
Yeah, if it's not funny, you should be canceled.
It should be like the immediate reaction. No one's laughing, you're canceled. Get it?
Yeah. Done. Out of here.
Out of here.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I mean, if you need to be offensive to make people laugh, maybe you're not funny. So yeah, fair point. Okay, so it's none of your concerns because you're just naturally funny without being too offensive or like offending like.
Oh, no. We're definitely going to get canceled for not being funny. Yeah.
I feel like it's just a matter of time before somebody figures it out.
Yeah, I hope that day won't come too fast. No, you're funny. Everyone tells me that you're funny. It's like when I told some friends that you would be on today, they're like, "Oh my God, that's so cool! You should wear those sunglasses." Like, no,
oh my God,
I'm not doing. I'm not doing this. But yeah, so see, you left an impression even here in Thailand. You have a loyal following also here in Thailand.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Please tell them thank you from us. That's awesome.
Seriously, yes.
Both of them, sure. Yeah, no problem. No, it's like, seriously, it's like a lot. And even my students know you guys. So now that I talk to you, I'm hopefully way cooler for my students. So thanks for this already.
Oh, nice.
100%. That's awesome.
All right. But now, after I asked like questions for my students and for my friends, now I have to ask questions for myself. And usually, sure. When I talk about wrestling, and I have to ask now, of course, because you're the German commentary that makes the German commentary way better than ever before. Because usually I can only talk to myself about wrestling. So now there are two real people who also talk about wrestling, which is awesome. How did you end up there? Like, did you just did they say, "Hey, German commentary, there's a job opening"? You're like, "Yeah, I'm going to do that." Or like, how did this happen?
Pretty much. They actually were looking for German-speaking talents that lived in the New York area. And we're both from an acting background. And funnily enough, we were both represented by the same agent. We didn't know each other at all, but our agents just asked us, hey, WWE's looking for German commentators. Would you like to go audition? And I don't know how Tim felt about it, but from my end, I was like, I would love to, but I will never get this job. There's no way. Yep. Because I had no voiceover credits before that. I had nothing really that said like he knows about commentary. I only have a sports background as being an athlete myself, but that was it. So I just went in to have like a cool like childhood, memory come to life. And that was pretty much it.
I mean, it was pretty much the same for me. It's like I got an email out of the blue being like, hey, WWE is looking for German speakers. Would you be interested in this? And like Calvin, I also was like, oh, 100% yes. It's going to be a fun story that I got to go to the headquarters. I got to audition, and then they said no. But for some weird reason, they asked me to come back. And then the third time they asked me to come back, I met Calvin, and then they hired us.
Yeah.
And I still don't really believe it to this day. I say this every single time people ask me about it. It's like, yeah, it's still not really that real to me.
It's real to me, damn it. But that's cool though. And I mean, you can't really answer it honestly, but I assume even if it's honestly, like you would say the same thing. So you've been wrestling fans your whole life probably, or like when you were kids and then when you had a chance to work for it. Like,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up with it. My brother was really big and he's 8 years older than I am. So by the time, I was around and remembered anything, I always remembered seeing wrestling. I think one of the first memories I had was the Yokozuna winning the Royal Rumble. And, that was big stuff in our home at that point. And then I watched it throughout. I got out of it for like, a few years when I was like, between, it was like 13 to 17, 18. And then I started watching again. And then, the audition came around a couple years later. So thankfully.
Yeah. I was into it when I was a kid. My mother didn't really let me watch it at first when I was a child. Like I would have to go down to my neighbor, my friend who lived below us, and he'd show me like VHS tapes of, Undertaker versus Bret Hart or versus Yokozuna. So I'd watch it there. Then I got a little bit older and I fell in love with it. I mean, like I got like I saw them live when they went to Hamburg in the Colorline Arena back then. I remember like being like front row and like touching John Cena and like slapping him on the shoulder and being super excited about it. Also, they had some incredible matches at the Colorline Arena back then. It was like Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle live. It was some really good stuff. Cena versus Triple H. Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff.
That's fantastic.
I hit Randy Orton's pose at my graduation. And then, after graduation, I fell out of it for a while just because, a lot of girls weren't into wrestling. So I wasn't for a while. And then I fell back in love with it. And and now I get to have this dream job.
Okay, priorities in line again. Okay, nice.
Exactly.
I think that's for most guys the case, right? Like most people I know, like, okay, I wasn't into it when I was like in my teens, early 20s. I wasn't that into it, but then eventually I started watching it again. I got more into it again. Like same here. And my first live event was in Frankfurt. I saw the Hitman, and I had this Hitman foam finger when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. That's awesome.
Amazing. And those glasses, fantastic. Best time ever. But unfortunately, they're not coming to Thailand. Maybe you can change that. Tell them they should come to Thailand for a tour.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do.
Thank you very much. Because your standing changed. Your standing.
And my standing is really, we have a big standing back there, as I briefly mentioned.
Before I ask more questions, like one thing that I always think when I see you guys, and then when I watch like the US commentary, it's like you guys and Pat McAfee, you're made for each other, aren't you?
No, I mean, listen, Pat.
We would love that. He is fantastic. He's so good. It's just such a joy to watch. We've definitely, Tim and I have both had the thing where we're like, if we could just do one sketch with him, we'd be super happy.
I mean, he seems to be a really funny guy. Also on his YouTube show, the Pat McAfee show, he seems like really fun. Like it's like a real fun guy.
Yeah, and like from what you hear. From nothing.
I mean, you're saying the same thing.
The best.
Nothing but good things. Yeah.
It's like, although we were hanging out with a bunch of like crew members recently when they came to the Barclays show, Madison Square Garden show. Sorry. They were just saying it's like Pat McAfee literally takes care of everybody in the back. He says thank you to everybody. Super nice, super humble. Is just he's a guy he's living his best life, as they say.
Clearly,
yeah, seriously.
On his YouTube channel, clearly living his best life. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what a Hall of Famer. He's fine.
For kicking. It's awesome. Are you guys as energetic as him on commentary usually?
I mean, we try to. I think in the big moments we do try to.
Definitely.
And it's also hard to, like, we're fans, so it's hard to contain yourself. Like these big, I remember like Kofi Kingston and stuff, like winning the title finally at Mania. And you're excited as a fan, and we don't know what's going to happen, obviously. So it's like you're there in the moment, and it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I Tim being play-by-play, I think, sometimes, maybe has to be the more contained, but it's the same thing that happens where it's like at a certain point, you just kind of forget that you're a commentator and you're just happy to be part of the action, especially if you have like a crowd of, at that point, it was 80,000 people around you and you get swept up with it, it's the same thing for me. I have a really fun time with it, so I might as well express it and maybe have a different style of commentary. Maybe some people don't like that, but that's just, I feel like as long as I have a fun time, that's somebody's going to connect with that. And that's the only thing that really matters.
But I think you also want, like, I always really, and like, I know, like you were saying, like some people maybe don't like the like high energy or like in the moments where you're like, then really passionate about. It's like, I think that's like, it's one of my favorite things. Like, that's why I go back to 2014 when Germany wins the World Cup. And like Mario Götze, and like where like the commentary's awesome in German. He's like, "Der Wunder Mario, Super Mario, ja, du machst ihn." It's incredible. It's like it's part of the video. I don't like watching that video without the German commentary because it adds to it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm wondering because I used to listen or watch with German commentary way back when, but back then it was like not as exciting as it could have been. I believe like it was like more like toned down, I think, a little bit. So I just wonder, like I assume like right now feedback seems to be all right because you guys are still doing it, so it seems to be all good. And so I'm just thinking like that.
Knock on wood.
There seems to be a change also within the audience that now appreciates this kind of commentary more than maybe before. But I'm just guessing right now.
Yeah, it's possible. I do think obviously times have changed a little bit as well. I think people are enjoying different types of content, and just again living in a world of social media that wasn't around back then. Things have become a lot more fast, a lot more snappy, and it's very important to keep people like kind of on their toes and in suspense. And I think that's a great way of doing it. But yeah, it's really hard to say whether people are enjoying it or not. So far as we know, yes, but maybe somebody will disagree. I think as far as we know, it's been going okay, which is why we're still around. So thankfully.
Yeah, I think obviously people like it. Yeah, so I do wonder though, like, because now, I mean, you obviously see lots of matches, and does it become kind of like work at one point, or are you still like excited every time you get to do it?
Oh, still excited.
Yeah,
it's like there are certain matchups that you see and you're just, that coming out with the demon Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. It's awesome.
Crazy life.
Yeah.
How can you not be excited for that? Or it's like, or where you see that maybe a storyline is maybe going a certain direction. Like if you see something happening and you're like, oh, maybe this could be interesting in the future. It's like these guys pairing up now, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. I still am very much just loving it.
Ditto. It's the same for me. It's hard not to get excited. And I literally, like, for example, on Sunday we have Extreme Rules coming up. So if this dates the podcast, I'm sorry. Yeah. But we have Extreme Rules coming up, and it's still, it's still my favorite time of the month every single time, because it's just like there's a pay-per-view coming up, and we get to do this. We get to do this thing where we get to call a wrestling show, and even when we have matches where we sometimes, beforehand are like, nah, I don't really care for it. But then as soon as we're commentating the match, like we get kind of swept up and we're like, oh, this is great. Fuck. And then afterwards we come out, like we'll be on a bathroom break and we'll be like, hey, it was actually a really good match. It's kind of become common. So I think we just love everything, wrestling related. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How hard is it to switch to German commentary?
I mean, it's gotten a little easier now, but at first, because there are like so many like phrases that you just know in English that you feel like would fit in perfectly, but then you like constantly have to think like, is this a German phrase? Do these people even understand what this means if I say this now? Or like, oftentimes I need to stop doing this, because like I'll oftentimes also just do like maybe compare something, and I sometimes maybe not take into consideration that my audience is mainly German speaking, because I'll be like, oh, he's like a linebacker or like a cornerback, where it's like a lot of people in Germany don't really watch American football. So you can't be like, he's targeting him like a cornerback. It's like, what?
Yeah, it definitely happens. I mean, at this point, I've been out of living in Austria for like 16 years. So it's definitely difficult. I mean, even with my brother, who's here, I speak English with. My parents I'll speak German with, but it's very easy to like fall out of it really quick. And I'm sure you know what that's like, Sasha. It's like it goes quickly, and then you think words, and then they're just not there. And then you find yourself maybe even saying it in English, or what is it, Jenglish, when it's German English, like the crossover?
Oh, Denglish.
Denglish. Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but I'm glad the same thing happens to you, because it makes me feel better, because it happens to me all the time. I go back to Germany, like, I know, once a year, if at all. And then you try to talk to people, and it's like, I maybe I can share with you guys, because you might understand. I once went back to Germany, spoke at a conference, got interviewed for like a German news TV, and then in German, and I was like stuttering, like, what's the German word? And then the cameraman tells me, "Don't worry, your German is quite all right," because he thought I'm not a German speaker. What the hell? Thank you. So
that's brutal. I would die.
Oh boy.
That's yeah. I definitely. My parents like to not be mean about it, but they definitely point it out whenever I write them an email or something, or a text message, and then I just get a message back from my dad being like, "What are you talking about? Like, it's your first language. Stop! Like, actually take the time and like, educate yourself." I will say, on days of where the show happens, like when we have a show and we need to do German commentary, I'll spend like a good portion of the morning just listening to like, whatever Austrian show I like watching, or, it's some sort of German stand-up or something, just something German. So I have like the the audio in my ear. Yeah.
Yeah. And on those days, we do also like make a point of speaking German to one another instead of English.
Tim and I will speak in German. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure.
Okay, fair enough. I don't want to keep you forever, but since you just mentioned them, you listen to German-speaking stand-up? What are good stand-ups right now, German-speaking stand-ups? Because I totally lost touch with everything comedy in Germany.
Yeah, Calvin,
I'll be a little bit biased because they're Austrian. So, for example, I love Michael Niavarani, who's very funny. I know it's Tim's favorite.
Yes. I'm sure he's great.
And then, God, what is the show called? It's this guessing show in Austria, and it's the one that I'll immediately go to watch. And I'm blanking on it. I'm so sorry. It's so basically they have like a round table of comedians, and they have a host, and then they'll say they'll put out this phrase. Don't look at me like that. Like it's only an Austrian thing, Tim. It's a great show, and it's very funny. And they'll have
sounds like one of those British shows.
It does.
Sounds like one of those British talk shows.
Yes, exactly. It's essentially the idea behind it, but they're all Austrians. So, they talk with a heavy slang sometimes, and I enjoy that.
Nice.
Well, at least there are funny Austrians, I guess. Are there also funny Germans?
Yeah, Tim likes Michael Mittermeier, no?
Isn't he Austrian?
Mittermeier? No, I think he's from.
I don't know.
Oh God, I don't want to say where he's from because I'll get it wrong. But
he's from Munich.
I'm pretty sure it's German.
Is he from Munich?
I wanted to say Bavaria. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Quick. I mean, like when I think of German comedy, I usually just go to Loriot, and that's what I'll stay with.
That's fair.
That's my German comedy. That's what I like.
Michael Mittermeier is from Dorfen.
Dorfen.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Bavaria still, right? So yeah. Okay, Loriot, fair enough. Can't go wrong with that. Okay, just a few last questions about wrestling, and then to wrap it up. But
yep.
And I know that's a cliche question, but I mean, I have to ask it because I want to know it. Like, what if you think back? Like, what's been some of your favorite moments that you were commentating?
Oh, that we got to well, we were very lucky. I think we got a bunch of really nice moments that we got to commentate on. I mean, I think what really sticks out is obviously Edge's return at the Royal Rumble, Kofi Kingston winning the title for the first time. That was a huge one. I mean, Calvin, you probably have other ones as well that really stick out to you.
Honestly, even just like our first event that we watched, which is No Escape, or commentated was No Escape. And that was just great just to be like, because I remember at that point it was Bray Wyatt winning the WWE championship, but like just being like it being our first show, it just sticks out. And I remember the visual of us just sitting there and everything. Which was fantastic. I mean, we've gotten to see The Undertaker in the ring. Like, there's just so many cool things that we've gotten to be a part of. Triple H, it's like, yeah, every dream has come true. We saw Kurt Angle. I remember that was one of my favorites. Probably was Kurt Angle being back as the Shield and then doing the triple power bomb. It was just, I lost my marbles there. So.
I mean, so many, another thing. Oh, there's a moment that always sticks out to me. It's like, I don't think a lot of like the match doesn't get talked about as much as it should, but the New Day versus the Usos at Hell in a Cell inside the cell, that match was so good that during the match, I started to tear up because the wrestling was so great. And I looked at Calvin and I had tears in my eyes. I was like, so good. They're so good.
Yeah. Yeah. They are just so fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all of it is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, everything is incredible. But that sounds like
everything.
It sounds like some really cool experiences, though. Yeah.
Shane McMahon diving off the top of the cage and like literally crashing right next to us.
Yep. Absolutely.
Has it been the German commentary table? Usually it's the Spanish announce table, right? Has it been your announce table?
It actually changed.
Ours is the new Spanish announce table now. Ours always gets broken. I think because they have seniority, so they're like, throw it at the Germans.
Probably.
So you have to jump up and run away.
Yes, pretty much. I like to hide behind the barricade. That's my favorite move because it's
he's a coward.
Yes. exactly. But it's safe. Sometimes fans get a little, anyway.
Like just a fun fact. I like a few years ago, I started like a website called SpanishAnnounceTable.com. Nothing on there anymore, but within like a few weeks, it got so much traffic from wrestling fans. It was amazing. I mean,
really?
I didn't do anything. And now it's defunct. Nothing anymore. Maybe I have to change it to German Announce Table.
German Announce Table.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What was on the website? What was the content?
I try to have some reviews from the point of view from the Announce Table. Like, so the Announce Table.
That's great.
That was just too exhausting to do this like every show. I'm like, okay, I can't keep up with that. I have a job, I have a life. But it did get some traffic back then, which was fun. So now I have to change it to like the German one, maybe. Do it in German, like just with German swear words all the time or something. That should that should work. Do you guys also, and let's see if you can answer, get to watch other wrestling promotions?
No. And we don't want to.
There's nothing else. Yeah. What are you talking about?
We're not interested.
We're not interested. Why would we watch anything else? WWE is the best.
We have the best.
Of course, like American Dragon and stuff. Who cares about those people?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. That sounds like a B movie from the 80s. I'm not interested.
That is actually true.
It is actually.
No, I mean the nickname sometimes, of course, not in WWE, but in those other promotions, obviously, that we not talk about. What would be your wrestling names? Also a cliche question, but I like it.
Wow. What would be your wrestling names? God, I have no clue.
If you make fun of their names, you have to have better ones.
Oh, that's true.
No, I agree. Yeah. Probably for me, it's something with Schnitzel, just because I'm from Austria, but who knows what it would be.
I'm going to go with Handsome Hava.
Handsome Hava?
There we go. I'll be like an old school villain, an old school heel.
A handsome German dude has never been done before, luckily, so that would be something unique.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He comes in dressed really well. He'll have a nice mustache that's constantly kept. Maybe has like a little twirl at the bottom. Yeah. Walks around with a cane. I can see it.
There we go. Something like that.
Yeah.
Or just Tim. Nice. Just go the Walter route and just go Tim.
Yeah.
Tim. Yep. Yeah. Nice. Tim and Calvin.
Great. Perfect.
Tag team champions.
We are. Listen, we're a great tag team. I'm fast. I'm short, but I'm really fast. And then you're tall and strong. So we've got like the AJ Omos thing. It's
We're basically like AJ and Omos.
The resemblance is fantastic. Yeah,
it's uncanny. Equal skill in the ring.
I was going to say, especially from a physical point of view, it's
Yeah, he has to hide from you guys. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Last few things just to wrap things up. But yes. Thanks already for this. But now you said earlier you're living the dream, right? Like it's awesome, and I mean it really looks like it. But you clearly also have goals. And what are some of those goals that you're following right now, besides the skateboard from TikTok, of course?
Well, yeah, I mean the skateboard. That's the number one. Apart from that, I guess $1 million.
You're working for WWE. You're not there yet?
Well, according to the internet, I have a net worth of $17 million, which
trust me, I know it is 100% true. He just hides it. I think we'd really like to spread across more platforms. That would be awesome to do. We just reached 500,000 followers on TikTok. So obviously the next big step is 1 million, just getting there.
Nice. And then a nice, cushy middle-class job at like the Bauhaus or something, hopefully.
Yeah.
We do this and then you do, and then you do some nice middle management for the rest of your life. I think that's the road to go.
It's the dream.
Yeah. that's what I want to do.
We'll be social media managers for Bauhaus.
Oh, there we go. Great. Get like a nice Schrebergarten somewhere. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I can see this happening. In like 5 years, we're all back in Germany. Yeah, nice.
Listen, I will say though, I think about that sometimes where it's like settling down might be nice, like later on, but might be a nice thing. Like in like 30 years or something, or 40 years.
There we go.
Okay, before I ask the very last question, just because you said it right now, I wonder, because you're living the American dream, and it's, I assume your lives are like all exciting every day, all the time.
All day, all the time.
All day.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so if you're looking back, I assume you might have some normal friends, maybe one or two back home that got rid of them. I don't have any of them.
Yeah.
But like it's like people settling down and stuff like this. You're like, hey, that could be nice. Or you're like, nah, come on, my life is so much cooler right now.
Honestly, I think about it all the time. I'm like, there's plenty of times where I'm like, why did I not just choose a 9 to 5 where I just go home, and then on Fridays you go home at 3, and then you've got the weekend. And especially in Austria, I don't know if it's the same in Germany, but you have a lot of long weekends where it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I do think about that sometimes where I see people, I'm like, that's really nice. That's, but then again, then I see this and like, it's so much fun. And I don't think that you can really replace that, And there's the only time I'll say something nice about Tim, where it's like, I get to do this stuff with like a friend that I'm really, really close to, and I just have a blast with literally every single time. And I don't think anything can really replace that.
I'm gonna animate art in there for you guys.
Yeah, that's appropriate right now.
I mean, it's sometimes you think about like, would it, I also have those thoughts where it's like, it would have been nice to just, have a normal job. But then I think back that I once did an internship and almost killed myself because it was so depressing. It's just like, I think the internship was supposed to last for 3 months, and I quit after like 3 weeks. It's just like, not for me. No. This is not, I can't do this.
Wait, what was the internship for? I don't think I even know this.
It was at it was at a media company. It was basically just cutting together DVDs to show clients. And even that, I was like, I'm not doing anything creative. I hate it.
That's
so
fair.
Media work sucks. Like, I mean, the other media work. Okay, fair enough. But same here. Same here. I also had 9 to 5 jobs left. I'm never going back. So I agree with you guys. Yeah. Okay, cool. So the thing that I do at the end, like of podcasts and stuff, I ask you for like famous last words. Of course, it's like then what I'm gonna steal from you is like the catchphrase, like, "Hey, he said." So what are the words you live by, or you want to be famous for, or I don't know.
Oh boy, that's a heavy question. Words we want to be famous for. What if other people said? I want to know a good one that somebody else has said.
Then you steal.
What's one that you've liked? No. I swear I won't. I just want to know what somebody else has said. I'm really curious.
I can't say that on the record because then it would be insulting. But most are very cheesy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like live every day as it would be your last and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think mine would be live, laugh, love. Yeah.
There we go. Mine's gonna be.
Nice.
Mine's gonna be if you do the thing that you like doing, then keep on doing that thing, because if you do the thing that you're doing and you like doing it, it will be done.
Those are wise words, though. That could go on a poster or on an IG post. Very
there we go.
We should make that into like a quote, like very inspirational quote, and just put that on our TikTok and like start making really nice, high quality graphics with like just terrible quotes.
I can see like motivational speaker in your future. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. With my attitude towards people.
When I'm feeling down, the first person I text is Tim all the time. I think I remember I got out of a relationship and I called him and I was like sobbing, and he goes, "Oh, that sucks." And I was like, "That's all I'm getting? Like, what are you talking about?" I thought he was gonna be like, "Buddy, I'm so sorry. Like, when you want to go out, you want to meet up." It's like, "Oh, okay. But it's probably for the best. It'll get better." Cool. Thanks.
I'm sorry, buddy. See, but it did get better, didn't it?
Oh, it got a lot better.
It wasn't wrong.
He was right all along.
Yeah.
That's what you have German friends for stuff like this. All right. Awesome. Okay, well, as I said, I don't want to keep you forever. Thank you so much for doing this and for being on the other platform first and then coming on here. Thank you very much.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Seriously, it was a blast.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit this thing, send it to you so you can just check if it's okay before I publish, of course. So There's nothing
Sweet.
troublesome on there. And I'm going to make my students watch especially your last wise words over and over again.
Great. Yes, of course.
Live, laugh, love. Is that the one?
That one too, and get the thing done. If you want to like the thing, you keep doing the thing until it's done. The thing. So that was fantastic. Thanks a lot, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.